Hey everyone, I hope all of you are doing well and welcome back to Kayan Al-Bashar, where today I'm going to build the side of the Hagia Sophia, which includes a giant or two giant buttresses and a lot of windows. And then because of the way those windows are built, I also lost my mental sanity in the process, so fun video. So let's get straight into today's build. So I have to go back into something I said in the second video of the Hagia Sophia build, which is a little bit weird because the first video I didn't really actually build anything related to the Hagia Sophia except the Red Panda habitat, and I just say that that was the happiest time, or the happiest I will probably be in the entire Hagia Sophia build, because yeah, as I said, I need to go back onto something that I said in the second video, where I said something along the lines of Hagia Sophia is 80% domes. I said something along the lines of that. And I have to go back onto that because it's not. Well, it's in some way is, but it's, I would say, recalculating it, and don't question my math. I don't have the mental capabilities right now to make a proper math thingy, but I would say it's like 30% domes, 30% windows, and then everything that remains, and actually even the domes and windows, all is rounded or circular. Because everything that I built today, including the giant buttresses, which yes, this what I built right now is part of a giant buttress, but everything that I built today has in some way a rounded part to it, or circular part, because whoever designed the Hagia Sophia really loved their rounded parts, or circular parts, because again, everything is rounded, and in Plan Zoo, when something is rounded, usually means you have to make it custom, or that it has to be custom made, which means that everything that you see today is in some way custom made, which means that my mental sanity basically flew out the window this week. I mean, I like what I've built, but I also am going to rant about it because, yeah, I think that's just the perfect show of liking something because you're furious about it. Well, not furious, but I'm glad that it's finished, let's say it like that. But I am going to change a few things about the Hagia Sophia compared to real life, because in real life you have like a little bit more like textures or structures to the wall, but in Planet Zoo the walls are a little bit more smooth, so whereas in real life the Hagia Sophia probably doesn't need this much marble and such, in Planet Zoo it does, because otherwise you will just have flat walls, which is something I generally want to avoid. And also, for everybody having flashbacks to the station, the sort of star-like thing that is in this rounded part of the buttresses, I'm getting flashbacks again, but this is the most of like mosaic work I will do. I'm not going to do more than this because, again, I already said I'm sort of having flashbacks to the station towers. It was a part of the buttresses, and as I said, if I didn't do this, then the walls would just be flat, which is something I generally want to avoid, and I think is also a good tip of just avoiding completely flat walls. It's one of the reasons why I add a shitload of marble to the building, because, well, the other reason is I just like marble, even though we don't really have marble pieces in game, but we have I think they're called limestone and some are called concrete pieces, but they are wide enough to pass for marble, so that's why I want to use those pieces, because I like marble and they can pass for it, but also because otherwise I would have a lot of flat walls. And when you have flat walls, it usually looks very much like a box, which is something you want to avoid. Like, you can start with a box, but then you need to make it fancy, and in my case that means adding just a shitload of marble. So a lot of the things that I built in today's video will be a little bit more decorated or detailed than it is in real life, because the like textures or structures to the wall in Plan Zoo are a little bit more flat than they are usually in real life. Because in real life, I think the Hagia Sophia has like stone bricks and then there's plaster on top of it. So there's a little bit of the textures of the stone brick that could sometimes show. But then there's also just the textures of the plaster on the walls. And in Plan 2, that's just generally a little bit more flatter, or it just looks a little bit flatter. But yeah, I think I'm the happiest building these giant buttresses because, as you can see, there's a lot of rectangular bits, which yeah, it's the last thing that, or the last part of today's video that is in somewhat rectangular, because rectangular things are a lot easier to build than circular or rounded things. And that's also because, well, most building or parts in Plan 2 really work well for rectangular builds, or what is it? What's the other shape that is hooky? I don't know. Yeah, can you already tell that I've lost my complete sense of... It's not really that I lost it because I didn't really have much of it in the first place, but yeah, my sanity is out of the window. But what's the other? Square-ish, or just a square. Yeah, rectangular and square. So this is somewhat of the last time that I will be able, well, not the last time, because the next video is probably going to be the back of the building, which I'm happy to inform you guys that I don't think there will be any issues making the back, because I think in the second or third video or third part of the Hagia Sophia build, I was worried that there wasn't going to be enough space to do like a proper back to the building. And I am happy to inform you that there is enough space. There's actually a lot of space because, well, the Hagia Sophia in real life doesn't really have that much expansion to the back of it. And I thought, oh, I need that expansion to actually make like a throne room. I don't, because the building is huge. I think at some part in this video, if you pause it at the right moment, you will see the inside of the building. And then you will notice, oh yeah, I don't need to create any more space into this building because it's way too large already. And when you make an inside to the building, it's usually a lot easier to furnish a small building than to furnish a large building. Because a large building, if you really want to fill it out, it usually becomes a little bit chaotic, while if you have a smaller building, it usually becomes a little bit, well, less chaotic and a little bit more like lived in. Or I don't know how to really properly explain it, but it's, well, in real life it's also easier to furnish a small place instead of a large place because it's just harder to furnish a large place or a large area. And here I start to lose my mental sanity because everything going forward is rounded. Most of the time it's somewhat like this, where there's like a bump out above the windows that is rounded, which means that the roof above the windows is rounded, which means pain for me. That's basically it. But then also every window, I think so far in the Hagia Sophia has been rounded, which, yes, is not that difficult actually to build, but just doing it over and over and over and over again is difficult because repetition is never easy. In some ways it is, because basically I'm building one side of the Hagia Sophia, but because the other side is basically the same, I can basically copy this side and flip it and put it on the other side. So I basically have to only build one side of the Hagia Sophia. There are some forms of buttresses that I'm not going to include. We have those two giant ones that I already built, so adding more to the building wouldn't really do much. Or at least I don't like to have more buttresses because I just like my giant buttresses and I don't want anything to overshadow them. Repetition sometimes is just an easy way to kill creativity, I would say. Which is maybe the reason why well, I did not plan on becoming like a rant channel, but I do notice that the last few videos I've been constantly ranting about something. Let's just say I started with ranting about Snow White, and after that I ranted about domes, I rented about basically everything. Oh yeah, I also rented about Game of Thrones, but yeah, that's just the fun of having these videos unscripted, because I can basically just start talking about whatever I want. Lately, that has mostly been rants, which, I mean, I find hilarious to do, but it was not my intention to become like a rant channel. But here we are. Part of like ranting also doesn't mean that I care, I think, about stuff, so in a way it's a good thing, but yeah, it's mostly just hilarious for me to look back at the videos and think, alright, about what topic did I rant this time? And today it's about anything that is circular. I'm really thinking, like, should I build the courtyard next, because the back of the building is also in some ways a little bit rounded. There are some domes and such, so maybe I should not build anything rounded in the next video, just, you know, to save my sanity. But then, it might be even fun to, you know, see how far my sanity will descend if I build more rounded things. And also, I just want to say this, but I'm really just curious. If I said to, let's say, just the lady designer or Rudy, like, build the Hagia Sophia, would they also rant about how many things are rounded? I'm just really curious how they would approach a building such as the Hagia Sophia. I do think that Rudy, most of all, would probably rant. I mean, with his history about, well, the issues with Planet Zoo, I do have a feeling that he would rant. Maybe not the lady sider, because he tries to be professional and I don't. Or at least tries. Yes, the lady sider is a little bit more professional, I would say, than me. At least I haven't heard her rant in any of her videos, so I can't do that. I just have too much fun ranting. But anyway, so I really like, actually, that as I said before, I'm adding a lot more marble to the building, but I really like what I did with this, even though it's rounded, because right now I have a hatred of anything that's rounded. But I really like how it turned out, because in real life also, this is about the biggest difference that you will find between, well, my Hagia Sophia and the real life Hagia Sophia. But in real life it's red, which, as I said, I already color coded Kayan Al-Bashar, and red is the color of the, I would say, poorer people. So I did not want the color red in the Hagia Sophia. And also, this is another thing, red so far hasn't been like a major color in Kayan Al-Bashar. Also, green is the color of the royal house of Kayan Al-Bashar, so it would not make sense to have an entirely red building for the royal palace. So it also helps to, well, in some way give more color to the building by basically adding a shitload of marble. But yeah, it did help a lot to basically set some things apart from the rest, because so far everything in the, well, not in, but on the outside of the Hagia Sophia is beige, because I love beige. Although the entire, well, not entire, but most of the inside, and again, you will see this at some point if you pause the video at like the right second, but you will see how the inside so far looks, which is also going to haunt me, because when you build domes and such, usually I don't care really about the inside of a building, because that's not just something you don't see. So there are a lot of like intersecting domes, I think that's the right word. But because there's going to be an inside to this building, I have to clean all of that up, which is going to haunt me forever. So yeah, that's going to be fun, I think. I don't know actually how many episodes there were for this station, but I think that the Hagia Sophia will go over that number. I'm actually pretty sure about that, because this is the fourth part of the Hagia Sophia. There's going to be the back, courtyard, and inside. So that's already 3 videos, so we're going to reach 7. Yeah, I had to basically be silent for a bit to make my brain think of anything that's not rounded and do some proper math, but, well, proper. But, yeah, so there's already going to be 7 parts to this building. Fun. But again, I think maybe I could actually, because the back isn't that big of a build, or big of a part, I could maybe build the back and then also build the courtyard in the same episode. Don't know about that. But then there's also going to be a habitat inside the Hagia Sophia, or the Sultan's Palace. I'm still going to call it the Hagia Sophia because that's basically what it is. But yeah, that means that there's 8 parts to the building. Or still 7 if I make the courtyard and the back of the building into one video. Which could work because then I basically have the entire shell of the building completed. Can you already tell that I'm looking at what I'm building right now, which is rounded, yeah, and I'm already just like, this took, well, it didn't take as much time. I think every like window part took like 30 to 40 minutes to build, so what you see right now I think took 40 minutes. But yeah, doing this over and over again was painful. And then also like well, there's, as I said in the beginning of the video, there's like a token wall sometimes thrown in there, but most of the building so far has been windows, which, yeah, is fun. But I really thought that the building, because of how many windows there are in there, would be very light, but it's not. It's still very dark. So I don't know if it's just because I don't understand sunlight, or because sunlight in Plan 2 is a little bit different than it is in real life, but I would really have guessed that this building would be very light, but it's not. But anyway, beyond the lack of light in the building so far, even though there are literally only a few token walls in the building so far, but the roof was actually surprisingly easier this time, because the front had a very, let's just say, interesting roof. But here, as I said, everything is rounded, so it's just plop down a rounded roof and then you're fine. And all of these windows, as I said, are custom made. All of them are rounded because why not? Because whoever designed the Hagia Sophia hates me, or well, just like rounded bits. But some of the windows do have this like strange, I would say, indent, or just like the rounded bits just goes a little bit further than the rectangular bits underneath it, which might be because there's like a beam resting on that part. But I mean, it makes the windows a little bit more interesting, because if they were just big, gigantic, rounded windows, then, well, they would be a little bit too standard. So I'm probably going to use these kinds of windows also for the university that I plan to build on streams, which, yeah, this week there was only one stream because, well, I got sick after the stream, or sick. Basically, my stomach wanted to go full trauma queen mode, so I don't really like to stream and then also pretend to be completely happy, so whenever there's something going on, I will just say that the stream sadly won't go through, because I don't like pretending that everything is fine when basically my stomach wants to kill me. So that was fun. I mean, it's all better now, so probably next week, well, it's not completely all better now, but it's getting better. But yeah, next week there will probably be a little bit more streams. And also, I have no clue if there are going to be 2 videos next week, but if there isn't going to be 2 videos, then you guys know that probably Wednesday or Tuesday I will stream, even if there is a video, because I have some exciting news to tell you guys, which one person already knows, but that one person needs to be as silent as the grave. But yeah, next stream we'll have some exciting news. And also in the next stream I should probably be starting on the university, which, as I already mentioned here, is going to have, well, I'm basically going to make a Byzantine building, because right now I really just want to build Byzantine buildings, because maybe I like really, well, I just like Greek architecture styles, or Roman, but then Roman and Greek are very similar, but Romans are basically copycats in my book. So yeah, some buildings they made different, but you will see the Greek origin in many of their buildings. But then like the, I would say mythical or legend of like the origin of Rome also ties them back to the Greeks, because Romans love their Greek origin. So well, yeah, that's actually kind of true, because yeah, in the mythical origin story of Rome, they are descended from the Trojans. So yeah, they really just wanted to tie themselves in with the Greeks, didn't they? Even though it's probably just a myth. I mean, is anything really true about all of those myths? Or is it just like, hey, let's invent a cool backstory for our people, because we don't really want to admit that we have been here for thousands of years. We want to have a cool backstory to why we are here. So let's say that we are descended from the Trojans. I mean, it can be true, but it also just makes for a good story. But anyway, these are the largest windows I think so far in the entire Hagia Sophia. Which again, I'm really sad that there isn't much more light in the building. Because again, these windows are huge. I'm really sad you can already see it on the inside. Like, that's probably the most light you will find in the Hagia Sophia and Kayan Al-Bashar. Again, I don't really know if this is because of like, this is how it actually is, or is this because of the sun in Planet Zoo. But I really expected more light in the building, especially with windows as huge as this one. But that's going to be it for today's video. There's a lot of rounded bits. I ranted about those for mostly this entire video, so here you go, another rant. Again, I did not expect to become sort of a rant channel, but I mean, I enjoy it. So yeah, that's going to be it. I hope all of you have a lovely day. And I hope to see you back in the next video. If you want to see more, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, because it does help out a lot. And I just have a wonderful day. Bye bye.